Well, just as we thought everything was going well and everything had calmed down a bit, we had a horrible, horrible loss of Kelly, and little Zoe. It was such a shock. We came down one morning. Oh, please excuse my cage, by the way. We're just about to clean out, but I wanted to get some filming while the lighting was good. We came down one day and there was lots of blood in the cage. Now, the day before, Carol had been vigorously cleaning Kelly. Now, we did hear some little squeaks. We examined all the rats very closely, couldn't find any injuries. It has happened before that a rat will be over vigorous with the grooming and nip one of the others, accidentally just catch the skin. Some extra treats for my Zoe girl because she's not well. She's on antibiotics and bisolvent powder because she's got lots of mucus, poor little girl. So anyway, we've had a problem before with, over grooming, where rats have just caught one of the others and just scraped the skin, but we couldn't see anything wrong with any of the rats. And in the morning when we got up, there was lots of blood in the cage, and this is very upsetting. We re-examined all the rats, still couldn't find anything. And Kelly's 3 tumours, 2 of them between her back legs, there's little Sash at the back sleeping. The 2 between her back legs, they're very close. We couldn't see between them. She was really wriggly. We didn't really know who was injured. We actually thought the blood was coming from the uterus or the bladder of one of the rats. I'm going to give little Zoe some extra treats today because she's not very well with her respiratory problems. And anyway, we took Zoe and Kelly to the vet because they were both unwell. They weren't seeming quite right, so we knew that something wasn't right. When we got to the vet couldn't see any injury on Kelly either. So he, under anaesthetic, he managed to examine her properly. And in between the 2 tumours on the back, there was a puncture mark. And so we assumed that maybe Carol was over vigorously cleaning Kelly and just punctured by the tumour, one of the tumours, but we couldn't see it because the tumours were actually close together, and then Kelly didn't want us to examine her very closely. So if anything like that happens with your rats and you hear, squealing or anything, or you think someone has been injured, then you have to get to the vet and get them checked out properly. And what had happened with Kelly is overnight an infection had started to build up, and that can be quite serious. And then you get warm spaces. That's Carol there. You get warm spaces and heat, and infections can build up quite quickly. So unfortunately, the puncture wound was quite deep. The vet couldn't operate on to remove the tumours because they were attaching to internal organs. And up until the day that she got the puncture wound, Kelly was fine. She was getting about. We expected her to be with us for at least another couple of months. So unfortunately, we had Kelly put to sleep just a few weeks before her 2nd birthday. Now, if one of your rats nips another rat, you can't blame the rat. They're just being rats. She didn't do it on purpose. They certainly didn't. She didn't intend to hurt her sister, so it's not her fault. We've had this happen with some baby rats many years ago, and it's just unfortunate. It's an unfortunate accident. So it wasn't Carol's fault. We can't be cross with Carol. No, I haven't got food. Here you go. Here you go. That's it. And, there's nothing we could do really, but I'm just so terribly sad at losing our little Kelly so soon. Sasha is fine. She's just had a treat. We can't really see her down there, but she's fast asleep. I can't believe she's over 2.5 now. So if you think that your rats have been injured, and we examined Kelly as well as we could, it must have been a tiny puncture mark. We didn't actually see it because the vet kept her under the general anaesthetic and then put her to sleep. But if you think that your rats might have nipped one or the other, it wasn't even a very loud squeal. We thought it was just the rats messing about, So it just shows really, the next day we came down and there was this blood. So it's very scary, but ever you find blood in your cage, you must always consult your vet, unless you find it's just a tiny scrape on the skin. If there's a nip on the back, usually that will heal quite quickly, because Jack bit Jim quite badly once, and it just healed up, it sealed up. It bled quite a lot, but we didn't actually go to the vet because it wasn't that deep, it was just on his back. But the bleeding stopped very quickly and it healed up immediately. But wounds to the stomach can be very serious. We nearly lost a baby rat once because her sister nipped her on the stomach. And the same thing happened. We could not see a wound at all at the time. And by the next morning, a really bad infection had started. So this is why we examined Kelly as well as we could, and we didn't see anything, no blood the night before. Went to bed quite happy, it was just play fighting, and then came down to all this blood. Immediately I actually thought it was Zoe because Zoe was really unwell, but this was just a respiratory problem. So that's it, just as we thought things were getting better. We have another downward turn, so we're down to 5 rats, 3 girls and 2 boys. So we've got Zoe, Carol, no, don't, this is my finger, I smell of food. You're the greediest rat I know. We've got Carol, Zoe and a little Sasha, and we've got the boys, Jim and Wash.